so ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to 2.2.3. How can I add signed numbers? So we're doing more addition of integers and rational numbers. As a reminder, integers are whole numbers that could be positive, negative, and it includes 0 as well. And then rational numbers are the other numbers. So that will be decimals and fractions. So with that, it says in lesson 2.2.2, use integers to represent the lengths in two directions. You began thinking about integer tiles to represent this forward and backward movement, which we did not do. However, we are going to learn that and expand on that in this lesson. Today, you're going to use integer tiles to model expressions with integers, assigning the positive tile as a value of 1 and the negative tile with a value of -1. So as we are working, these are the questions you should ask yourself. Can I show these integer, can I show what an integer represents in more than one way? What can I do if the number is very large? So 2-56 is who has more? Now, if you were in class, you would have gotten the integer tiles that I have, and you're going to see kind of under the document camera in just a moment. And what I would instruct you to do is to reach in that bag, get out your own small little bit of them, and then you would have them in front of you and you would compare with a partner. So the first part says is to write what we have on our paper. So I'm going to go ahead and switch right here to my my camera underneath right here, and I'm just going to reach into this bag right here that I have, and I'm just going to get out at random some integer tiles. So again, as a reminder, this guy right here is worth a +1. This guy right here is worth a -1. And so what my job would be to do with this one right here is to draw what I got. So go ahead and pause the video right now. Trying to make sure they're all on the screen for you. There we go. Go ahead and draw what is here, please. So I see right here, the first thing I did, and I did it even unconsciously, I wasn't even thinking about it, is I automatically sort them into two piles. I have my negatives over here, I have my positives over here, and I'm going to draw that right here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negatives. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. And this will be the opportunity where I would compare what I got with my partner. So I don't have, I'm not able to have you reach in and grab your own pile. So I'm going to grab into the bag one more time. And we're going to pretend that this is the other person, or this is yours, if you will. And so again, I'm going to separate these out. And of course, my partner would have done this for me already, right? If you and I were working together. So I want you to go ahead and draw what I drew out this time on Bravo. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negatives. And so I'm going to actually write the value of both of these. So I see right here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negatives. And I'm adding it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. For this other one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. And I'm adding it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negatives. Some of you already may know which one has a higher value. But what I can do to show what the value is that if I have a +1 and a -1 like this, I can put a +1 and a -1 make a 0 pair. So I can remove that one. positive 1 and a negative 1 make a 0 pair. And so what I have left is the value of my expression. So to show what I did with removing, I have a positive 1 and a negative 1 that makes a 0 pair. And what I'm left with is the value of my expression. And so for this one, the value of the expression is negative 3. I'm going to do the same thing with the one above, where I'm making my 0 pairs, because a negative 1 and a positive 1 is 0. And what I have left over is going to be the value of my expression. And so in this case, I have 4 tiles, but they are negative. And so in this case, person B would be the one who had the higher value, because negative 3 is closer to 0, or is to the right, I should say. It is to the right of negative 4 on a number line. It's way better for me to owe someone $3 than $4. So in this case, oops. Now, of course, if you were in class, instead of it saying person B has a higher value, a person's name would be there. However, obviously, at this moment, you can't just draw random tiles on your own at home. So Charlie says this. Charlie says, if you took a bigger handful of tiles, would you have a better chance of getting a higher value? If you took a bigger handful of tiles, would you have a better chance of having a higher value? Now, my tiles were totally at random, but I think it's really good at illustrating the answer to this. Person A technically has one more tile than person B. However, because of what the tile was, is whether or not who had the higher value. And so in this case, if we had a larger handful of tiles, I'm just as likely to get out a negative tile as I am a positive tile. Because back in the day, my husband, when he was trying to woo me, cut all of these guys, 350 of them, matter of fact, to make negative tiles for you to be able to utilize and have as a manipulative. And then we also have 350 of the regular positive tiles or tiles spacers, those ones right there. So again, if I had a larger handful, if I just took a whole mess of them out, I'm just as likely to get these negatives. In fact, we definitely on both of these had more negatives than we did positive, which is interesting because the whole time I taught this lesson, all 5 classes, I ended up with a positive value. It's interesting that this time I have a negative value, but you just never know. So if I had a larger handful of tiles, I am just as likely to get those negative tiles as positive ones. And really, it's the number of which tiles you get that determines your total value. And as you can see, most of our tiles actually ended up as 0 pairs. And so that's really interesting to see too, because that doesn't always happen either.